Hello everyone, in this video we are going to be walking through step functions in AWS Lambda. And the reason why step functions are so helpful is when you have a very large input and you're maxing out the timeout session, the 15-minute cap you have on a Lambda function, step functions let you break this job down into smaller pieces that you can then have multiple Lambda functions handle in parallel, so you can get big jobs done quickly while still getting the benefits of having that serverless architecture with Lambda. Right now I'm at the AWS console, I'm at the Lambda section. You can just type in Lambda to get there. And I'm going to be creating two Lambda functions. And for some reason they make things new. But basically I'm just going to go to Lambda. I'm going to click on create function right here. And I'm going to author from scratch. And the first Lambda function I'm going to make is called square number. And I'm going to have this run on Python 3.13 with the ARM64 architecture. And we're going to create the function. Okay, so our function was just created. I'm going to dismiss this message and we're going to paste in the following code. So this is a super simple Lambda function. All it's doing is it's getting the number from the event that's passed to it, that JSON object. And then with that, it is just returning a dictionary with the square of that number. So very simple, just for our example. And I'm going to deploy this code by clicking deploy. And so now that we've got a Lambda function for squaring the numbers, I'm going to create an additional function here to aggregate the outputs of all these Lambda functions. So this one, I'm going to call it aggregate squares. And it's going to be running in the same Python 3.13 ARM64 architecture, and we're going to create that. Okay, so now we've created this function as well. I'm going to edit the source code as well. So what this is going to do is after all of the square Lambda functions run, it's going to take the outputs and then return a overall list of all those things so that we're aggregating the responses into one object that we can then process downstream. So I'm going to deploy this. All right, and now that we've deployed it, the other thing you're going to want to do is we're going to copy the function arn of these Lambda functions that we're making here so that we can put them into our step function. So I've copied the arn for the aggregate squares, and I'm going to do the same thing here for the square number Lambda function as well. So now that we have that, the next step we're going to do is we're going to go back to Lambda and we're going to click on step function state machines. And here you'll see that little blue icon to create a state machine. And we're going to create this from nothing. I'm going to call this square nums state machine or whatever you want. And it's just going to be standard. And you're going to click continue. Now I'm going to write this in JSON. Okay, so this is my state machine JSON. You can see what it's doing. So it's going to be invoking the square number function, and it gives you a nice little graphical illustration of what's happening on the right hand side. And so what's going to happen is it's going to enter the map state. And the way to think about the map state is it's basically a for loop in your step function. So with a list of inputs to process, the map state is going to treat it like a for loop, and it's going to take every single one of those elements inside that list of inputs and then create a Lambda function invocation in parallel for those things. So that's how we have this set up right now. So if I didn't have this, what would happen is I would send my square numbers Lambda function the first input, wait for it to finish, send it the second input, wait for it to finish, wait, send it the third one, and so on. But now that we have a step function and this map state, what it's going to do is it's going to take this list of, in my case, 3 inputs that I'll show you in a second. It's going to break down that list and it's going to create 3 parallel Lambda functions. And those 3 parallel Lambda functions are going to run 3 times quicker than just running it one after the other in series. So you're going to get the benefits of processing this list of data a lot quicker. And then once that map state finishes, once all of the separate Lambda functions have done their compute, it's going to then hand it off to the aggregate results Lambda function, it's going to take the event, which is all of that list of outputs from our map state, and it's going to aggregate them into a single output so we can see all of the data processed in one place. So that's the code. And now I'm going to create this and I'm going to confirm it. So we've just created it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to execute it by clicking the execute button. And in my case, I'm going to paste in this JSON object with the numbers list. And so again, just like what we were saying, is instead of me doing this in series, calling one Lambda function, waiting for it to finish, and then second and third, it's going to run 3 Lambda functions in parallel in order to make this go a lot quicker. So we're going to click on Start Execution, and you can see how this thing runs. So we're going to give it a moment. You can see it's finished. And so if you were to look at the timestamps here, what you're going to see is that it created the 3 separate invocations simultaneously of the square number Lambda function. And because of that, it finished all 3 around the same time. And then once that finished, it then reached out to the aggregate Lambda function to then take all 3 of those outputs, combine them into one output list or JSON object that we have here. So you can see that the all squared list was the aggregated result of the 3 separate Lambda invocations that happened when we gave it 2, 3, and 5. So this is how you can break down your data into smaller chunks so you can then process still using Lambda and getting stuff under that time period. So that is going to wrap things up for this video. I hope it helps. Let me know if you have any questions. And a final thing I'm going to note here is inside of our state function, you are able to define a max concurrency value. So if you were wanting to make sure that you're not going to overwhelm anything that might happen downstream or upstream of your step function, you can define a maximum number of Lambda functions that can be running simultaneously. Because I didn't define that in my code, that means that it's going to, if my list had 20 objects in it, it's going to run 20 separate Lambda functions. But if I had a max concurrency of 5, then it's going to have at most 5 of the Lambda functions working in parallel at the same time. And that's just so that you can set your own thresholds on that too, so that you aren't blowing anything up.